Hi guys, this is Shan Masood, and today we have one of England's best. They're all around is Chris Woakes, and we're gonna have a little chat. How's it been playing cricket in the bubble?
Yeah, it's been different, hasn't it? I think you come in and you got your expectations of Test cricket. We all know what Test cricket is like playing at the highest level, but we all expect big crowds in England, and we love to play in big crowds, but unfortunately it's not the case at the minute. So yeah, it's been okay. It's been a bit different. I think we in a way we were quite lucky, obviously having to play the West Indies series first and kind of get a bit of a feel to it. Whereas for you guys, obviously coming in and then playing a one-off series is probably a little bit different, but yeah, we've got by, and the cricket's been really, really good, so that's the main thing.
We know the crowds have always been great in England.
Mm.
There have been some grounds where the Pakistani fans kind of outnumber you guys as well.
Yeah.
But what's one ground that you've missed all this summer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased to Edgbaston, obviously, with it being my home ground. I think you hit the nail on the head, I suppose, with the Pakistani fans in England. Obviously, you get a good following, and that Test match at Old Trafford. Thankfully, we came out on top, but I feel that Test match deserved a crowd. It would have been great to have a bit of banter between fans and some loud noises, but I suppose it is what it is.
Maybe the crowd would have gotten us over the line.
Yeah, well that's it. I always think, look back at the series and think, how would the crowd affected the games? It may well have done it. It have added pressure to that run chase, both for us and for you guys, I suppose. The whole game, there's been certain times where you think the crowd would be really interested at this moment in the game when it gets a bit tense, but
that particular Test match did deserve a crowd.
Definitely.
On to in terms of the quality of the cricket, I know weather's played a major part, but how have you felt that in terms of the series? How's the quality of the cricket been like?
It's been really good, mate. I think we always know when you guys come and play us here, we're in for a good challenge. In English conditions, for foreign teams to come here and play, it's always quite difficult to get used to the conditions and stuff. But I always feel Pakistan teams adapt really well to conditions. Which kind of sums up why in the last, I think it's 10 years or so, we haven't beat you in a series here or something like that. I think that sums up the reason why you guys tend to just adapt to our conditions well. You've got good bowlers that bowl well with our Duke's ball. So I think the cricket's been of a high standard. I think it's been unfortunate that we've had the weather that we've had, really. We obviously got that one Test match at Old Trafford, but then the second one here was a bit of a shame with the washout. So, but the standard cricket's been very good as always.
I think anything, you don't have to give any secrets away, but anything in particular that you find about this Pakistani side? Because I think in 2016 we were a heavy experience unit, 2018 sort of in a rebuilding process. You've played all three of them. So anything particular that stands out?
Well, I suppose the big one for me, bowling in this series, has been that you guys, as I touched on, the adapting to conditions. I think you guys have left the ball really well. You tend to find, as I said, teams come here and are very much worried about playing at the ball outside off stump, and obviously Nicks generally carry here, but you guys have come and left the ball well, which means that we've had to bowl a bit straighter, and then that works to your strengths. So I think in comparison to those teams, I think you just adapted to conditions well. You have got a bit of a younger team, but I think you've got a good blend of experience and youth, which obviously back in maybe 2018, like you said, it was a bit of a rebuild process. I think the team has just rounded off very well. You've got a good balance.
Do you see this team getting more experience and getting better at Test cricket?
Yeah, definitely. I think you guys have got all boxes covered. I think, especially when you've got a good spinner in Yasir, I think he balances your side really well. He's obviously an attacking leg spinner, but he can also hold an end really well, which in a Test team is crucial. Especially if you go in with generally a four-man attack, with three seamers and a spinner, you need that guy to hold up the end, and Yasser does that brilliantly, doesn't he? So, some exciting young fast bowlers, which obviously with time, they're only going to get better. Shaheen's obviously a great left-arm bowler, and the seams clearly showed that he's got some promise. He's still young, so he's only going to get better, but I think it's looking good. But
happy with your work, your team? How do you see your team? I think you guys are even in a bit of a rebuilding process.
Yeah, a little bit. I think similar to you guys, I think over the last year or two we've kind of tried to change the way we've played our cricket. I think we were kind of stuck in a way where we were trying to play quite aggressive with the bat.
A lot of boundaries.
Yeah, a lot of boundaries, and it was kind of a fast-paced Test cricket. But I think Test cricket is designed to be played out over 5 days for a reason. And I think we're trying to make sure we do that a bit better. Particularly with the bat, we're trying to bat long periods of time and get teams coming back session after session and try and grind them down. And that's the game, isn't it? Trying to outdo the opposition by playing the long game. We've still got some young players in the side, but we've also got some guys at the other end of the spectrum and some really experienced guys. So I think we've got a good blend, but I think we're still building. We've obviously got, I suppose, at the end of the tunnel is the Ashes down under. We've got to go and try and prepare ourselves and get ourselves a good squad to go and take on the Aussies in their own conditions. Is obviously quite tough, as you guys have been there recently.
They run you around a lot.
That's right, exactly. So we need to make sure that we're in a good place to go down there in probably about 15 months' time or so. That's obviously the light at the end of the tunnel. But in the meantime, we still want to win series and win test matches. But I think we're in a good place. I think we've got some good young batsmen. With more test matches, I think that's only going to help the side. So Shan, you obviously come over and you're in a very different situation with the bubble and the biosecure environment. How have you guys found that? How's it been?
I think we've been very lucky that it's been a contingent of 42 people. Yeah. Probably a bit more. Some of the guys went back as they were reserve players.
Okay.
So you initially, and even till now, you have a lot of guys, different guys to chill with. I mean, it's a bit unfortunate because coming to England, you have that element of freedom. You get to go out. Even you start off with people are up and about very early. You can even go out for a breakfast meal. So I miss that part of going out really. I've been based here. My family's been based here in London for about 10 years.
Okay.
And there are a lot of elements of London that I'm missing, and hopefully once the tour is over, you can get back onto that. But look, you spend time with a special group of people. Arrangements made by the ECB have been pretty good. I mean, we're very surprised, in terms of how well we've been looked after.
Yeah.
Food's been no problem. That's always a big issue.
Yeah, of course it is.
And then as a group, we've been pretty good together. Like you said yourself, we have games like pool, table tennis. We've got the Xbox, the PlayStation, and we've made use of time. And it's felt like these 2 months have gone by pretty quickly.
That's good. You obviously got a very experienced coaching staff. Yunus, Mushy, and Waka, obviously 3 legends of the game, and in particular in the Pakistan environment. But how do you kind of tap into their knowledge and their experience, and how have you found them as a coaching unit?
Look, I think it's very important for us to have that extensive coaching unit, especially with a group of 29 players. You can't just have a couple of people looking after the whole group, even in these situations. Yunus will always be a special character in my life. He's been my mentor. Probably played my first few first-class games under him, my first international game under him, and then his first game as batting consultant. Managing to get that 100 was also special because we worked a lot for these past couple of months in Derby. A lot of times where we were trying to get things right, they weren't coming off right, but I think he'll always be a special character, and to have him on this contingent was amazing. I think Misbah as a coach, in my opinion, he just keeps growing, keeps getting better and better. I think being a previous captain of the team obviously makes a huge difference as well, because he knows how to lead the unit. Waqar Yunus has been our head coach as well before in previous times. And as a bowling coach, I think he's made me bowl a lot of overs. I've only bowled 6 in the game, but I think my back and my lower body's done because I've just bowled too many overs in the nets. Still not clocking that speed I'm trying to get at. But I think he's been very good for people like Naseem. You've seen the emergence of Naseem, Shaheen. Abbas as a bowler just keeps growing and growing. And I think in our reserves, he's producing a lot of fast bowlers, and he's very dedicated to the job. Mr. Mushi, I think you guys know him pretty well. He was with us at Multan Sultans as well. So I've got that very close relationship, that mentorship relationship with him. And I think that's his biggest quality. He's a mentor for everyone, not just the players, but even the coaching staff as well. And he's kind of a bridge between the two. And he's got knowledge of everything. You'll see him with the batsmen throwing balls down, and that's what we've heard from previous players that played under him in the English contingent as well, that he'll always be willing to do some throwdowns. He's very good when it comes to toughening this up.
Yeah.
So I think we've been very lucky to have this coaching staff. Yeah, I mean, we're not just cricketers, we're human beings as well. So how's life been kind of off the field? Has it been difficult? How do you adjust?
I think the bubble has been difficult. Yeah, I think it's easy to look from the outside and just see the cricket.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think we've all got families and friends outside of our jobs, and I think this period has been quite tough. Being locked away in a hotel with your teammates and your work colleagues for that long. I suppose you get on each other's nerves occasionally. I know you guys can probably talk and vouch for that. You've been here for a long time. It's probably worse for you guys being away from home, in a different country. That must be difficult, but yeah, it's kind of. I mean, we're lucky nowadays, aren't we, that we've got the technology to be able to keep in contact with people. But it certainly had that tricky sort of balance, being able to switch off from the cricket. We're obviously on the grounds in the hotels, looking at the pitch, 24/7. That's definitely hard work.
That's been.
Has that been hard for you guys as well?
Oh, completely. It kind of it feels like you're always in the ground.
Exactly.
Whether you have that balcony view or not.
Yeah.
You just feel you're playing cricket 24/7. So I think. But on the brighter side, what's been good is test matches are long, 5 days long, so we don't have to worry about bus timings.
Yeah.
We are half an hour earlier. We don't have to wait for anyone having a late meal or a nice bath. We can just quickly come back to our room. So I mean, everything has its benefits, but psychologically, I think it's very important that you stay away from the ground and you learn to switch off.
Yeah.
How was it spending some time with your family, just a couple of days in between?
Yeah, that was really nice. Between the two test series, getting home to see the family was crucial, not just for me but for them as well. I do have one daughter, and we have another one pending next month, so we're due in.
Hopefully all goes smooth, man.
Yeah, hopefully that goes all well. But look, family life, the balance of test cricket and family life is always difficult at the best of times. So now this period has been tough, but I think having a strong network around you is important, not just for us but for them as well. So that little period in between test matches was crucial to get away, completely switch off from cricket, forget about it, and then coming back in to play against you guys with a fresh mind.
And what do you do, if you want to give us any suggestions in terms of your off time within the bubble, how do you spend your time here?
We've been playing a lot of silly games really, darts, a bit of pool. There's a card school going on. The guys love to play their cards. I'm not a part of that, to be honest with you, but there's also been a lot of PlayStation and Xbox being played.
So who's competitive and in what kind of game?
God,
any picks, anything interesting?
Joffre on Call of Duty is, you watch it, it's pretty special. It is pretty special how good he is, but if you don't want to be in his next to his room, because he plays till like the early hours of the morning.
Is he loud as well?
Oh, so loud. And he has his headset on, so he can't understand how loud he is. And he's just shouting louder and louder and louder, and he's screaming. So he's very competitive.
Guys on FIFA? Anyone?
You know what? FIFA seems to have disappeared a little bit. Yeah, it's faded out. It's all Call of Duty and guns
the
and
English contingent at the PSL was always FIFA, and they're playing doubles and
there was a phase where a lot of FIFA was being played, but not so much this trip.
Not so much this trip. Let's go back. Obviously, hopefully if things go to plan, 2022 is a bit far away, but there's a prospect that you guys might be touring Pakistan. How do you see it? Have you got any feedback from your colleagues, and are you looking forward to it?
Look, first and foremost, it's great to see that cricket is being played in Pakistan, isn't it? Everyone, I think world cricket's in a better place if Pakistan are playing Test cricket and any form of cricket at home, to be honest with you. I only got great reports from the guys that went and played PSL. As you touched on before, we spoke about we had a great English contingent at the PSL this year, a lot in your team. Those guys were really complimentary of how it went. Obviously security was very high, they said Pakistan's a beautiful place to play cricket, and the fans are very passionate, which I've been fortunate to play a lot of cricket in India, and I kind of get a similar feel in terms of how passionate the fans are for the cricket, which is brilliant. So hopefully in the near future that can happen, and test tours definitely seem to happen more frequent back in Pakistan.
Even any aspirations of playing the PSL as well?
Yeah, I mean,
if you get some time off?
yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the amount of cricket we play. I mean, I'd love to. I really would. I'd love to play in as many franchise tournaments as possible because they're great. I've had a little bit of experience, obviously, elsewhere, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my time. And I think it just branches your kind of. I know you can work with new coaches, new players from different cultures, and it kind of just broadens your horizons on not only your cricket but as being a person and a human being. So yeah, would love to at some point if you guys will have me at some point.
We'd love to. I mean, we probably like an English dominated culture, so
Yeah.
we wouldn't mind having you. In terms of Pakistan as a visiting place, have you heard much?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been obviously, so but I've seen stuff on Sky that they did that documentary with Imran and on the PSL and stuff, and it looks a beautiful place to visit. I haven't spoke to the guys. I'm not sure what their situation was when they were there, whether they were allowed out of hotels too much and stuff, but I'd love to be able to visit and see what it's like.
I mean, it's all just kind of started now. I mean, obviously getting the trust back. So initially, players were just confined to one location. So it was just Lahore initially.
Right.
Because the headquarters were based there. Qaddafi Stadium's there.
Yeah.
Easy to get the teams over. Then we moved to Karachi.
Okay.
Now we've opened up Rawalpindi, which is the twin. It shares the twin cities with Islamabad.
Right.
So Islamabad is the capital of Pakistan, and Multan as official centres. So
Yeah.
teams have been around 4 centres now.
Okay.
And there's been movement that started from the place, so they're not just stuck to their hotels. They've visited places, they've gone out for dinners. In the PSL, there were different sponsor events. If you go to cities like Karachi and Lahore, Karachi is near the coast. Can even get some beach time there.
Yeah.
We have some golf courses. Lahore has some golf courses.
Okay, nice.
Dining out is always fun.
Yeah.
Promise you there won't be a stomach upset. The food's pretty good. And if you go up north, you start from Islamabad, the capital. It's a small city, but it's beautiful, especially during the winter time when the PSL does take place. Most of our cricket is played during the winters because the summers are unbearable. You don't want to come there.
We'll be able to
won't be able to, not a fast bowler. You probably want a bat, but
no ball.
A ball from off spin. But we've got some mountainous ranges within Islamabad. You can go trekking. There's a beautiful restaurant up on the hills. There's Murray next to it, again a hilliest area. But then if you go into the northern sides of Pakistan, like the Swat Valley, the Hunza Valley, like it's just beautiful. It's gorgeous, and even us, like people that live in Pakistan, due to that only being a seasonal sort of affair, you can't go there during the winters.
Right, okay.
It's just a beautiful place that even a lot of us haven't visited. So there's so much to do there and so much scenic beauty.
Yeah.
But I think what's more important is that we had this unfortunate incident in 2008.
Yeah.
There was no cricket played till 2015 till Zimbabwe came there, and even after that, the only cricket that was held was either a couple of T20s with Sri Lanka, a couple of PSL games.
Yeah.
But credit to Sri Lanka, credit to the World 11, Bangladesh. They've all started coming there.
Yeah.
We've missed 10 years of cricket, and when kids don't get to see their own, so people like Babar, they haven't played properly in their home ground. Shaheen. These are the current lot. They're still lucky, but like people like Azhar Ali and Asad Shafiq, they're probably towards the latter stages of their career. But at their peak, they never got to play in front of their home crowd.
That's a shame.
And like if you get people like yourself, like your Joe Roots, your Ben Stokes, your Jimmy Andersons coming there, playing cricket over there, I think that makes a huge difference, and it puts the children's interest in the game. It's so beneficial for the future generations, and you want the game to be sustainable.
Definitely.
You want the future generations to play it. But if there's no cricket in Pakistan, parents would be better off, and it's technically the only sort of sport that has been thriving on an international basis at the moment. Unfortunately, I think we need to do a lot as a nation to develop sports all around. But in terms of cricket itself as well, missing that international thing. So I think it'll be amazing having you guys over, and we look forward to it, and we look forward to playing you here as well with more crowds.
Definitely.
I know just before we go, I'll ask you one more question. You're from Birmingham?
That's right.
So you wearing that was when you had the, excuse my ignorance, but when you were wearing the shirts for the NHS Doctors
Yes.
and Workers.
Yes.
You had a Pakistani name on.
That's
on
right,
the
yeah.
brochure. So
Yeah.
how do you feel in terms of being from Birmingham, and do you get along well with the Pakistani community?
Yeah, definitely. I think you touched on it well there. Birmingham is very much a diverse community. You've got a lot of different people from different backgrounds, different ethnic backgrounds. In different little areas and pockets in and around Birmingham. I've grown up in and around those areas as well. And my local cricket club in particular, when I first started then, when I was very young, like 6, 7, 8 years old, that cricket club was, had a large contingent of Asian members. I've grown up in that sort of environment, and I think we've touched on it. Pakistanis, they love their cricket. It's passionate. It's almost a religion to them. So that's brilliant. But I'm very biased towards Birmingham. I love Birmingham as a place, and it's just a shame we haven't been there this year. But I'm sure there'll be many tours ahead where we can play back in my home ground, and hopefully you can be playing Test cricket against the big so-called bigger nations in Pakistan as soon as possible.
How's it been with different things like rules placed during the COVID, like not using any saliva? How much of an effect has it had?
Yeah, I think at first it was something which you had to really concentrate on, and not using saliva to put on the ball. But I think you kind of get to grips with it pretty quickly, don't you? And it's a shame the weather hasn't been a little bit warmer, so you can get some sweat off your arm or your face and get it onto the ball. And I think there's been little periods of play where you wish you could have got some saliva onto the ball to make it do a little bit more. But I think it's just something which has adapted and we've just got used to, and it's almost become the norm now. I think you can probably vouch for this, but at first you kind of think you're going to keep putting saliva on it, and then you think no, and then you just use the shine, and you probably just work that little bit harder on the ball than you would normally. But COVID is, it's a shame that it's happened, but it's just a bonus that we've got cricket being played. We're very, very grateful for you guys coming over to play in this, particularly in these conditions, in what is a very different situation, having to stay in the hotel, being in a bubble. We are very fortunate that you guys have, and grateful for you guys coming over and kind of help save our summer, I suppose.
I'm lucky I'm off ball shiny beauties.
Yeah.
Because then you don't want a bowler saying nobody's shining the ball. So
give it to someone else.
Give it to someone else. Lastly, we saw an incredible innings by Zach Crawley, but in terms of like cricket and seeing performances by oppositions and then having some sort of mutual respect, like you saw a lot of us going up to him and just showing that level of respect for that amazing knock you played. So in terms of cricket, I know on the field it's a battle, but how do you guys look at other people doing well and sort of those sort of gestures?
I think exactly the same as what you said there. I think we're all playing a game which we're all desperate to do well ourselves, do desperately well as a team. You're out there to win. That's what we're here to do. But at the same time, I think cricket is very good at acknowledging when other guys do well. You kind of clap and congratulate and appreciate someone doing well. And it was very nice of you guys to obviously wish Zach and congratulate him on a great innings. It's kind of that mutual respect, I think, which teams have, and I think most teams around the world kind of do have that. I think it was a bit like, I've obviously known you for quite a long period of time. We played against each other in the under 19 level.
2007.
It seems like a lifetime ago, but then playing against you in Test cricket, seeing you get a big 100 in the first game, I was obviously pleased for you. Obviously not so pleased for us to bowl all those overs and watch it hit the middle of the bat. But I think that's just the way the game's played, and I think particularly from an English point of view, and I think Pakistan are obviously very, very similar. When you watch someone do well, although you're desperate to get them out, or you're desperate to bat well against someone, I think you can respect how well or how good someone's done or performance that they put in. So I think we've got a mutual respect there.
Mate, thank you so much for taking out the time,
No problem.
and hopefully we do see you back in Pakistan pretty soon.
Good man.